Today is July 12th. Friday, July 12th. So, not a whole lot going on. Still kind of doing some projects. So, yesterday pulled the hay rack in here. This thing needed some little bit of work done on it. So, I don't even know what. So this is an old, pretty old. I know when I was young, a neighbor guy did some fab work and welding. He built this trailer, and then this thing's got to be all of 20-some years old. And then a couple years ago, we put a new, like the running gears on it, the tires, the frame, or the axle and stuff. That's new. That's only a few years old. But the main frame on here, most just in the back. The front 2/3 is good. There's a few bends here and there, but the structure is good. But this back end here gets weak. The back end wants to sag. There's this end of the supports where this axle is. So right here, it's been starting to break on us. It's been beefed up. You can see welded pieces in there. On that inside, we put a big piece of angle iron in there to try to support it up. But when you put hay bales on here, that's a lot of dead weight just kind of bouncing on the end. That's kind of the biggest thing. You're driving, that end's always kind of bouncing a bit, and that's where we get our issues from. I was kind of wondering if we could extend that tongue there and put that axle back a little bit farther to get that weight right where it's breaking. But Dad kind of thinks you extend that too far, that's when your frame and everything's going to want to twist on you. So we don't really want to move it. So we're just going to try to beef that up some more and see how that holds. We do try to keep the bales off that very end as much as we can, especially hay bales. They're a little heavier. Corn stalk bales, we'll put them on there. They're usually pretty dry and light. So that's kind of what we're doing. And one other, so since we don't put, basically a bale will sit on one group or one hole, like right here in the center. It'll kind of hang out over here a bit. So basically every other slot is where a bale goes. And so we try to keep the bales to the front, so it always ends up, a bale sits right here over the center of this tire. And then, a bale, especially hay, they kind of sag a bit. So they'll sit on here and they'll actually rub on the tire, so as you go down the road, then it rubs off the net wrap right there. And for like hay, it's not a big a deal because that hay is wrapped up in there so much you don't lose nothing. It kind of stays together. But corn stalk bales, they do, that rips through that net wrap, you'll start losing stuff down the road and just kind of makes a mess out of the bale and puts stuff on the road. So I thought, I had this piece of steel here that in the last video we just took out of the barn to put a new piece in. I'm going to cut a couple of chunks out of that and weld it in right here over the tire, just to keep that bale off that tire. And ain't going to cost nothing if it don't work, or if that metal rubs on the tire, which it shouldn't. It really shouldn't go any lower than what it is, because that frame is getting held up by that axle. It should work, I think. Just a matter of cutting that out, and hopefully that welds on there. Shouldn't be too big of a deal. Yeah, that's about it. I already did some welding on here. Right there is that whole I-beam was cracked. That side, the whole thing was cracked. So maybe we'll try to find another piece of big angle iron that's on that inside there for that side. And I don't know, try to limp this thing along some more. It's a nice hay rack. Like if we do, usually you can get 6 bales on the bottom, so 12. Then depending, corn stalk, sometimes we'll put 2 on top, so then you get 12, 10. There's 22 bales a load. Usually we just do 1 in the center with hay, so then you get 12 plus 5, 17. Not a very expensive piece of machinery, but gets used a fair amount. So try to keep it around. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'll cut this and put it on there and see what it looks like. Alright, so finally got that cut up into 2 pieces. That took a lot longer than anticipated. Could be a couple of reasons. I don't know if that steel's so rusty and it's almost flaky. Wasn't really wanting to cut through it very good. Or our torch isn't the greatest. It needs a new tip is what it needs, where that gas comes out. I tried cleaning them out, but it never seems to cut that great for us. Or 3, I'm just not very good at torching stuff, which that's probably the case. So what I ended up doing, I was getting pretty frustrated with it. It cut through the flat plate decent, but trying to cut through that angle iron, it's a little thicker, and that wasn't going at all for me. So I ended up taking the welder. You can crank the amps on it up pretty high so it really burns hot, and it basically acts as a torch and you just kind of burn right through it. And it's a lot messier, but it sped it up quite a bit for me because I was getting sick of it. But so yeah, you can see like all that weld along there, I was burning it through this way, so that slag was kind of just melting on that side. So not the prettiest, but it doesn't have to be. It just needs to be somewhat flat. That's another thing why I needed to get that angle iron off, because I think when it sits on here, there isn't a lot of clearance from the top of here to this tire, and that was 2 inches thick. So you go down this far, that's just about rubbing on that tire. And if this, if it stood flat, it'd probably be all right, but if it wiggles at all or anything, that metal would have been rubbing on the tire, and that would not have been good. So this is gonna work just fine, hopefully. We'll kind of clean this edge up a bit just so it sits flat. I'll weld them on there and see what it looks like. Alright, there's the final product. Nothing fancy, but hopefully effective. Nothing is real square or level about it. There's a gap here. I got it welded good there. Like I said, I don't care if it's pretty or not, as long as it holds up. And it basically the width of the tire. Some bales will sit on there. Nothing should rub on the tire. If anything, the bales are gonna tip in a little bit because they'll kind of sit down there. And that's a lot better than them tipping outwards, because that's when they want to fall off. If they're leaning in, you can actually put 2 up, or 1 or 2 layers of them a little better, because they'll kind of tip in a little bit. I don't know, should work. Nothing real crazy, but it's always something on the guy's mind every time you take bales off. At least those last hay bales we did this year, every bale he took off that was over those tires, there was that foot gap there where all the net wrap got ripped off. So, should be good.
What is your name? And how old are you?
2.
my sister's too. Her name is Sarah. My name is Kamala, and I'm 4.
Do you want to hold it? Turn it. Video Dad. You have to turn it like this. It's going very well. Nope.
You videoing? What's Daddy doing?
Hold it still.
Sailor, do you want it? Push it down.
This is fun.
Alright, Mom, let's go stand over here. Wait. This is a little difficult too. Happen. You want it? I'll throw it in the bucket. Throw it in the bucket.
I'm gonna go get my hair.
There you go. Want some more? There you go. More. There you go. Let's go all the way.
Huh?
But
When are we going to put that away?
we'll throw it in a dumpster in a little bit.
Sailor, can Mom hold you? Hey,
Alright.
Can Mom hold you? You want to help? What if I hold you so Dad can keep going?
I'll do it. So, keep going.
What was that?
A bird tried taking some hair for a nest and dropped it. Alright, so tonight we're trimming the tails. So we did a video on this, one of the first ones I think, huh? We've had quite a few more subscribers since then, so we'll show it again a little bit. But this is what I use. It's called a tail well. So basically it's blades in a circle, if you can see it, but it kind of goes back and forth, and there's like a clipper, so it cuts the hair off the tail. So I do this probably twice a year, and so as of like 4 or 5 years ago, we can't dock tails anymore, which means once they cut off, but we used to put a castrating band around them, about somewhere in here, just to get rid of the bush on the end, the switch it's called, because this gets full of manure and piss and stuff when we're milking. They flip it all over, you get covered in manure.
Hello.
Gets their backs all dirty, gets the parlor dirty, so it's really a dumb rule, but nothing we can do about it. We can't dock tails anymore, so we got clip their tails to try to keep stuff a little bit cleaner. So it's a pain in the butt, but it was a good night to do it. And now we get more help. And yeah, it's all that dry hair likes to plug up the pit. If we put it in there, then it doesn't really break down. It gets stuck in the manure pump and stuff. So we try to pick as much up as we can, just throw it in the dumpster. If anyone wants to make a pillow or a blanket, just let me know.
How would we even make a blanket?
With all that hair.
Alright.
Okay, Sailor, can I hold you?
Or you want to stand there?
What if we made a pillow?